I've been going to Bike Week down in Daytona for 25, going on 30 years. And in the springtime is always a real big deal. There's another one called Biketoberfest that they do in the fall. It's a little smaller crowd, a little more chilled out. The weather's a little less hot. So I usually do that one. I'd planned to go down there with some friends of mine, and I think I was working on a car, a sculpture, or something like that. They had already headed out a day early, so I'm catching up. So the trip down is fraught with misadventures from the get-go. I get 3 nails in a tire at one point. Right down the road, I kind of feel a little wobble. I think maybe I've got like a bad groove in the road, and I realize my tire's going flat, so I pull over. Got 3 nails in it, but I got a plug kit, so I lay the bike over on its side, and it's a lowered Harley-Davidson Street Glide, so I've got these big, full extended saddlebags, big fender. It's kind of hard to get to the back wheel of it. So the easiest thing to do was to pull off on the side of the road, kind of off the interstate. This is on I-75, South Georgia. Lay the bike completely over on its side, where I can kind of get to the wheel and turn it around and plug the tire. And to avoid damaging the saddlebag, I took one saddlebag off, and I kind of set it off to the side. And it was kind of warm that day, so I took my leather jacket and my helmet. I kind of put them up on the hillside under in the shade, and there just happened to be a big cardboard box on the side of the road. I thought, well, that'd be better to lay on than the hot dirt and concrete and ants. So I dragged that over, and I'm laying on it next to the bike, and I'm plugging the tires and working on that. And I know where I hear some sirens way up the road. I'm thinking, oh man, I hope, there's some other bikes that have ridden by. I hope nobody got in a wreck or anything. And so I keep working on the tire, trying to get the plugs in. They're reinflated, and I've got a compressor on the bike. But then the sirens were for me, it turns out. Somebody had driven by, seen me laying beside the bike with presumably parts scattered all over the place. Thought it'd been some accident, called 911. And most of them were pretty irritated. But, one of the firefighters got stuck behind and, made sure I got going again. And I did. So I get on the road again. And it's not too much farther that it's getting dark now. And I realize my voltmeter is like way over too high. Like my voltage regulator's gone bad. It's too late to get a part for Harley-Davidson. All the dealerships had closed that day. And I'm in like North Florida at this point. So I'm thinking like, man, this is not my trip. It's getting chilly. So it's already pretty late at this point. The battery would get really hot. So I would essentially like drive the bike for 20 miles, stop, let it cool off again, get going again, let it cool off, just trying to rotate it through to not melt my battery down or fry the electrical system. So now it's gotten late. It's 11:30 at night. I get to this Harley place. It's gotten cold now, so I decide, all right, I'm just going to spend the night here. I don't want to pay for a hotel room. So I just put on every piece of clothing I had. They had a little pickup truck out in front of the dealership. I literally just, so as not to arouse suspicion from the cops, just slept in the back of the pickup truck, parked the bike off to the side. Sure enough, next morning, mechanics come in. I get the part I need, put a new voltage regulator on it, hit the road, we're good. I get to Daytona, and I catch up with my friends, and my friends are drinkers a bit, and that's not really my thing. So a lot of times when we all meet up down there, we'll ride down together, we'll go ride a little bit, but then they'll go hit a bar, and I'll just take off and go to a bike show or something. I love all the paint jobs and all that kind of stuff. So there was the boardwalk show that day, and my friends are off somewhere, so I go to the boardwalk show, and there's some amazing bikes there. I mean, mine's a custom bike, but not like these. These have, $20,000 paint jobs, all this crazy metal work. I love looking at them. And I'm walking along with the bikes. They're amazing. And off to the side, though, I see this guy kind of over on the street part. He's got this beautiful old, like a purple shovel head, which is kind of like the old school, kind of real biker Harley. Beautiful bike. It's purple. It's got this neat little, we call it the tombstone taillight, off of Harley Davidson. It's kind of shaped like a little gravestone. So I see him, this guy's fooling with it, and I'm a pretty good mechanic. So I walk over, and I was like, hey, man, you need some help? And he's like, well, I just can't get the bike to start. Not sure what's going on. I said, well, you mind if I give it a try, see what's up? Yeah, sure. So I go to to clear it over, to kick it, and then I go to twist the throttle, and the throttle feels very loose. And I realize the throttle cable's out. So sure enough, trace the cable down. It's just the little ferrules pop loose out of the carburetor. Hook that back up. Bike fires up. Oh, thanks, man. I was right. He said, my name's Jim. Well, nice to meet you, Jim. I'm Christopher. Well, hey, Christopher, man, I'm kind of over this crowd. I've been riding here for years. Go see some cool roads. Thanks for fixing my bike for me. I'm like, sure, man, let's do it. So I just get on my bike and follow him, and we ride out of town. And I noticed that in his taillight, he's got this thing called a blue dot. And I've got one of these on my old bikes too. It's like a little purple glass jewel. You kind of drill a hole in the taillight and pop that in, and when the bulb hits it, it kind of mixes with the red of the taillight and makes it look purple. Purple bike, purple taillight's pretty cool. Purple's my favorite color. So Jim's pretty cool. So we go out and ride, and this is about 20 years ago, and I had not been going to Daytona very long. I didn't know the layout very well. So he took me up kind of north of town, up through like Tomoka State Park, all these really cool like spooky roads, big long roads with the Spanish moss and these neat little, swamp trails. And this one that kind of cuts through a neat little bridge and pops up right on the coast out there near Smyrna. So we ride down the coast. It's a cool day, Ride with this guy for a little while. We get back into town and I said, well, hey, man, I'm going to go catch up with my buddies. You want to come hang out? And he's like, nah, man, it's not really my thing, but I'll see you out there on the road. Cool, man. All right. So I go and I catch up with my friends and we do our day. We go get something to eat. We go check out a bike show. We go to a couple of the bars. The Iron Horse is a lot of fun. They've got the Wall of Death there and a burnout pit in the bar, and it's kind of crazy. And so we went out and did that and had a good time, and everybody's time starts filtering out. Now, some of my guys had a hotel down there. I have a really good friend of mine who lives over in Sanford, Florida, kind of near Orlando, and I usually stay with him down there, and he had to work, so I'm just going to ride back with him. We're all kind of leaving the bar, and everybody else filters out, and my buddy Keith had been missing, though, for about 30 minutes. And Keith, I kind of knew. He was a friend of a friend. I kind of knew him. He was a little sketchy guy, but he was nice. We had some kind of common interests and stuff. And so he was a nice enough dude. And so the guys filter off, and it's about 2 a.m, and, the bars are kind of emptying out. People are kind of winding down for the day. And Keith is there, and Keith pops up, and he's got 2 women with him. And that's just me at this point. I'm kind of getting on my bike. And Keith pulls up. We're all parked on Main Street. And he's like, hey, man, I met this girl, and she's got a friend. And she said, she's got a 2-room condo right here on the beach. And she said if I could find a friend for her friend, we could all go back to the room. And like Keith and I both had a wife at the time. And I said, Keith, I'm going to pass on that. And I really suggest you probably pass on that too. And he said, well, they look pretty safe. And there's an old saying that if she's a 2 at 10 o'clock, she's a 10 at 2 o'clock. And these girls were definitely 8 at 2 o'clock by Keith's standards at least. But nonetheless, I said, man, I'm going to pass. Wife at the time is back home. I'm just going to go see my friend, and I think you should pass on this. Well, fine, I'll find somebody else, man. You're lame, whatever. Fine. So he wanders off with the 2 women. Well, about that time, coming down the street, there's Jim. Just riding down Main Street. See him arm out, Jim? He pulls up, hey, man, cool, I said, what you doing? He said, I'm heading on, man. I'm going to head out. I live over in Daytona. It's out there at I-4. I said, well, man, I'm going to I-4. Well, hey, we'll try to keep up. And he just rides off. And, of course, I got, put on my jacket and my helmet and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of behind. So, I got to get gas, too. So I get on my bike, whatever, Jim's off in the distance. So I go get some gas, get on my bike. So get out on I-4. And, this is kind of late October, and I-4 is kind of cut through a swamp. So the land's kind of low and it's real humid out there, and you get this fog sometimes at night, and that real dense kind of Halloween fog. And it's October, it's Oktoberfest, it's probably a few days for Halloween, so cool, this is all spooky. So I'm right into the fog, and there's this neat kind of effect you get with, like, sometimes in a real dense fog, the pattern of your headlight kind of doesn't really change in the fog, and the Jersey barriers on the side are pretty static. They're not changing, and the road's not changing, and you get this neat kind of optical illusion, like you're not moving, you can feel the wind and hear the bike, but nothing's really changing. It's kind of fun. And it's not safe to really be driving fast in fog you can't see, but I'd passed a car earlier enough to see I could see taillights a couple hundred yards ahead. I'm not going to run into the back of a truck or anything, and it's 2:30 in the morning. There's nobody out there anyway. So I'm just riding through the fog, and the bike's reverberating off the Jersey barriers, and it sounds cool, and it's just awesome. I'm having a great time. And up the road, I see just like this little purple glow, and I realize it's Jim. Like, I caught up with Jim, so I'm excited. I'm trying to catch up with him, and I'm going a little bit faster, and his bike's, this little shovel head. I mean, they're not really fast bikes, but mine's not really that fast either, but I can't catch him. The faster I go, it's like the faster he went. I could hear his engine, just roaring down the road, and so I'm thinking, all right, well, I can't really catch him, but I'm just going to go as fast as I can. So my bike's wound out. Again, I'm probably going 118, maybe 120. It's not a fast motorcycle. I still can't believe Jim's going that fast on his old bike, but somehow he is. I can hear him. I'm just following his taillight. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to follow him. So if there's a deer, a truck, or whatever, like if he dodges, I'll just dodge. I'll just do what he does and just use him like a rabbit out ahead of me. So I'm just kind of zeroing in on that little purple glow up ahead of me, and that little tombstone taillight, and I'm just going, and we just kind of get into this groove. It just goes on for miles, just as fast as that bike will go. Just fog, everything's just zipping by, and there's just nothing around me. It's almost like I'm frozen in space. I can just hear all this sound. Out of nowhere, it was just like gravel pile, front end loader, porta potty, bulldozer, dump truck, barricade, road. Like I literally just rode, like both of us just went right through a construction site, like just in the fog, like just hit it out of nowhere, like just, and nothing happened. I mean, I didn't steer, like I was just, that bucket of that front end loader went right over my head. It was just construction site, and it just sort of stunned me, like, like, I can't, like, I just, how did I not hit something? I went right through a construction site. I mean, I'm just, oh my God. So, I keep going, and I kind of slow down for a minute, and then Jim's gone. I can't, I've got to slow down. Obviously, I had to slow down after that. So I kind of dropped my speed down a minute and just, like, oh my God, I can't. I just rode through a freaking construction site at 120 miles an hour in the dark and managed to, like, not hit like 6 really heavy things. So Jim's long gone, and I'm just like, all right, that's it. So that's one of those, like, 45 miles an hour all the rest of the way home, like, turn the music off, like, just like, okay, I'm okay. I get back to my buddy's house. I've got the key. It's late. I let myself in, and next morning, he was like, hey, how's your night? I said, man, craziest thing. I was going really fast following this guy, and, like, both of us just went right through this construction site in the fog. He's like, oh yeah, man, that whole road's torn up. Man, they're always working on it. The road out there is, I guess, in the swamp. It kind of gets a lot of the pavement kind of breaks down, so they got to repair it a lot. He said, oh, that road's always torn up. And I was like, dude, man, I don't know. Like, if I had been a foot off either way, I would have just vanishing point right into some bulldozer or something. And I just happened to be following that dude, and he got lucky, and I got lucky because he got lucky. But dang, he said, man, that's wild. So it was my day to go home anyway. So I had a couple things I need to do on my bike. So there's a chopper shop there in Lake Mary where he lived, and so I go by there, and they've been there for wherever. It's this place called Pete's, and they worked on my bike a couple times when it was something I didn't have the tools to fix. And I go in there, and I had to get an oil change with oil in it, a couple other things like that, because it's a Harley and mine leaks some oil. So I'm in there, and I'm kind of standing around in a little waiting room area, and they got a bunch of old bike parts and photos, stuff like that. And I was just, I guess just effusive from the night before. The guy's been like, well, how's your trip down here? And I told him the story, about, man, I was out there and just blew through this construction site, and he said, man, he said, that's happened before. People get out there that fog, they just don't see that construction stuff. And he points up on the wall. He said, we had a guy, one of our regulars, man, he had a crash out there. He didn't make it. He pointed up, and it was a tombstone taillight, just like the one on Jim's bike, little blue dot. He said, man, after that crash, the bike got towed here. We tried to part out the end. He said there was nothing left of that bike except that tail light. He was a good regular of ours, so we hung the tail light on the wall. It's been there 20 years. And I was like, man, that's the bike I was following last night. The guy had one. I mean, that's not that uncommon of a tail light, but don't see it very often. I said, well, what was this guy's name? He said, Jim.
This month of VINwiki Car Stories is brought to you by Bridgestone, and the most exciting news out of Bridgestone is the brand new release of their Alenza Prestige tire. The Alenza Prestige highway tire is for drivers who want a long-lasting, elegant, and comfortable ride without compromising at all on wet weather performance. Amazing tire that features their next generation Enlighten technology, as well as their Quiet Track technology, an in-groove feature designed to reduce tread pattern noise combined with a wide center rib that helps to deliver a whisper quiet ride with comfortable and responsive handling. So check them out now at the link in the description below to learn more about the Alenza Prestige tires from Bridgestone and the entire Bridgestone family of products.